Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusral, and welcome to part 13 of Clingin On. We'll begin with the results of last episode's random duty officer mucking about, and that all went off without a problem. I hope those prisoners enjoy their new life as Vulcan slaves to Orion's. Ugh. Shudder. Horror. Some things should probably not be discussed in any great detail. Right, on the bright side we have a nice new deflector shield for somebody. I think Talimba can have it since he was still on the standard issue Mark V. And is that worth giving to anybody? No, not really. Pistols are meh. If you're going to use guns, use proper guns. If it wasn't a two-hander, it didn't count. If it wasn't .45 caliber, it didn't count either. Those consoles are actually identical. So let's just dump the Mark 6, might get a little bit of cash for it. And we can get rid of that beam array as well. Not a proper gun if you're on an escort or a raptor. Right, on to today's episode, Destiny. Yes, right, so the Chancellor wants a word again. He's probably got a brand new way for us to die, but he's offering some actually useful loot. Okay, so... never noticed that before. Turns out that it actually alters the tooltip depending on how fast you're going when it comes to describing an instrument. I wonder if shield power has the same effect. Right, it ought to alter regeneration. No, it didn't. Curiouser and curiouser. However, combat hyper-impulse engines, just which power curve are those using anyway? Does it matter? No, not really. Not at the moment. We haven't got them, so there's no finding out. Transport to Kronos because I'm feeling lazy and because I've already spent enough time warping around the sector. Right. The homeworld. The clean-up from that last episode went pretty well. They've already bolted Praxis Station back together, swept up the debris, executed the prisoners. You name it, it's been done. The Clingin engineering core is efficient. We don't have to kill half a ship's crew and gut the ship just to get a terraforming device back. First City, unfortunately, is still the same den that it always was. You let even one Ferengi into a place, it tends to start going downhill. The rot sets in. Fortunately, they are not permitted within the Great Hall, so let us bask, let us relax in the radiance of honourable warriors, fine Klingons, and political backstabbing, so perhaps we shouldn't relax too much. Turn over the contraband. Have we got enough for a Labour battalion? No, we haven't. Need to go and inspect a few more Ferengi freighters. Hello, councilman! How are the new spines coming along? Hope you're not sore about the last episode. And Chancellor Jimpok himself. Right. So the Fekleri, or at least something pretending to be them, are back. And of course the council's divided. The council couldn't agree if they were deciding whether to have blood wine or fire wine for dinner. It would still end at duck tugs drawn, insults between houses, and doubtless a blood feud to last the generations. Right, talk to the Law Singers. For those of us who missed that particular DS9 episode. Right. Basically, it was Kaelus's personal bat'leth. He made it. It was the first. It was the prototype. Now the tale goes that he made it by dipping a lock of his hair into lava. Klingon lava scoffs at the idea of convection. Worf doesn't want to talk to us yet. You cannot thwart Stage 1, or in this case Stage 1B. We must also talk to Berlin, and while she can't tell us about the sword, well, here's what we know about the Ferengi. Kaelus and Lucara, the Battle of Kamchi. I don't know whether that was actually their wedding or not, but they did end up getting married, and needless to say, that also involved a battle. Those of you who aren't familiar with Klingon culture may well be sensing a theme here, and you would be right. If it doesn't involve blood, pain, fighting, or a combination of the... oh, and alcohol, combination of the four, then it probably doesn't want. to be mentioned at all. Probably isn't worth mentioning either. So Worf has fessed up. Oh yeah, oh, and we'll just blow the fact that the Emperor is a clone. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but in the DS9 episode, wasn't that kept quiet? Mind you, he did replace himself with a hologram at one point and then go off on a quest again. I'm starting to wonder if the Emperor is a deconstruction of an MMO character. Yes, I have responsibilities at home. Sod those, I'm just going to go off and see if there's somebody I need to kill. However, Worf's obligingly given out the location, and as he says, we are a friend of the House of Martok. We just got the scion of the House of Martok, the heir of the house, killed. Right, hang on. This isn't the Samuk system. We were supposed to be transwarping to the Samuk system. Where is my engineer? Where is the fool, the incompetent, who either can't navigate or is deliberately sabotaging the Empire and its defence? Where is he? For he is indeed doomed. Retribution must be meted out. Find the culprit. Find him. Find her. Find anyone. Who is to blame for this fiasco? Where are the scientists who should have calculated the jump? Where are they? Warp theorists, that should be it. No, he was on the tachyon beam, so I can't really blame him. He has actually got a justifiable excuse. Not going to blame the weapons officers either. We don't let them near the helm. Aha, there you are, culprit. This was clearly a Federation plot in order to undermine the Empire. It will not stand, and will void you out of an airlock, Mr. McCormick, just as soon as we're done with the Breen. Welcome to the Samuk system. Right, we've found the Emperor. Indeed, there is no better companion, be it for drinking or fighting, but you need enemies to fight, mostly. So let's start with these Breen. Scatter volley and torpedo spread, since they're nice and clumped up. And that's the usual result. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, Breen frigates. Don't sneeze too loudly on them. I hear they're being held together by ice. And probably the tears of 1,000 slaves. Right, one cruiser should be marginally sterner stuff, so cloak up, just to get the moment for our assault. Close the range, because cannons being what they are, they work better in close. Weapons power, rapid fire, high yield, goodbye to your starboard shields, and then your hull. Yes, weep, weep tears of ice and give us our power levels back. Not that it matters, because the effect won't go very far, and we had so much weapon power as overkill that, well, it hardly made a difference. Right, the buff is vaguely moving, but let us carry on. After all, the Emperor may well be the greatest Klingon ever to live, but apparently that doesn't extend to being a starship captain. Right, rinse and repeat. Their formation's got a little too dispersed, but it doesn't matter, because they're still right under our guns. Scatter volley breaks them open, regular fire to finish them off. Right, a flagship, a Sartheln. Someone give me a challenge. I still haven't found that saber-toothed tiger. Please let this be a worthy adversary. And remind me to shoot the chief engineer if we can't get the exhausts fixed. We don't need to be leaking plasma under cloak after all. Right, attack patterns lined up, rapid fire lined up, high yield lined up. Go the cloak, and off we go. Goodbye to shields, and... oh, was that all? Is that the best you can muster? I would ask them to show me their fury, but I don't think they have any. Right. Now, does the Balth need help? Yes, they do. Oh dear. Let us do as 5 warriors what the crew of a Negvar could not, and clean out these last few boarding parties. And since I want a challenge, I want to do this up close and personal, let's pull out the Bat'leth. We need proper weapons for this after all, so 4 locations to search, 4 boarding parties to kill, break out the candy, and off we go. Choppy, choppy, choppy. No finer thing in life. And for those of you who are disdaining melee combat as somehow uncivilized, what are you? 2 weak stomach to get your hands dirty, to see the life go out of your opponent's eyes, visor, whatever. That's the thing that makes fighting Breen so unsatisfying. You can't see those last few expressions on their faces. Of course you can't anyway, because let's face it, there's really little point. Right, another grenade, just warm them up a bit, and off we go. Yes, even their engineers and their medics fall apart. Still, it's quite commendable of them to have biogenerators to do their healing. After all, what self-respecting warrior would occupy his hands healing when he could be wielding a weapon and bringing in allies instead? Right, can't let my bridge officers and myself grab all the glory. Got to let the Becks have their fun every now and again. So that's the medical labs clear, and of course there were no Klingon patients. No self-respecting warrior would allow himself to be in sickbay on his back when there was fighting to be done. Of course, no self-respecting Klingon warrior lets himself anywhere near a Klingon doctor, so that's kind of irrelevant anyway. Actually bother to load up the close combat kit. Can have a bit more fun if I remember to push the buttons. Hasn't been necessary thus far after all. Aha! More Breen! Indeed. Right, motion accelerator and choppy, choppy, choppy. Come here. There we go. A scientist. Too cowardly even to go close quarters with me, trying to shove me back. It will not avail you. Die. Die warm, Breen. I'm running out of good insults. I need to think of some more before the next episode. Right, and I think we've run out of Breen here as well, so finally the officers' quarters. Aha, there they are, all nicely bunched up and admiring their latest art sculpture? I have no idea, but such lack of vigilance cannot go unpunished. There goes a stun grenade. Chop. Neatly in half. Dice him, and get your back to the wall. There is nowhere to run. And with sensors these days, ladies and gentlemen, there's nowhere to hide either. And I think we are done here. So, off to engineering. Now, can we actually get a decent fight from the EMPRAH? I do not think we will. I think that is the best we are going to get. Right, engineering a happy, happy turbolift. Oh, and the ship's about to explode. Minor detail. If only fools fight in burning houses, sensible people fight on burning ships. For, let us face it, the Breen are not going to allow us to defuse the warp core on their own. It's almost admirable. They know they have failed, and so they do not care if they die. For in death there may yet be victory, or at least not utter defeat. Of course, it's also worth pointing out that they're on a hostile ship, there's no escape, and they're dead anyway, once the 1,000 or so crew rally and hunt them down. So, hey, you might as well go out with a bang. Literally, in this case, if we can't get that warp core stabilised. Aha, Chief Engineer, well, at least he was vaguely helping. Either that or was just posing with his shotgun in an effort to persuade better warriors after the fact. Right. So they junked the warp core. Great. Well, let's hope it's fixable, or we may be trying to cram 1,000 crew into a ship designed to accommodate about 100. It could get a little cosy. Right. Okay, no, that is the way to the bridge. We'll doubtless be going there eventually, but for the moment, we have other places to be. To begin with, the warp core, or at least one thereof. And if this set looks familiar, yes, This is what got reused as the Starbase's warp core room. Not that it really matters. As I said in another video, not only does Star Trek have a long and valiant history of set reuse, I mean, if you look up the history of, say, the Battle Bridge set, I think that's been reused about half a dozen times in one capacity or another. And indeed, it makes sense to an extent that the Klingons would use standardised engineering rooms and just start bolting them together if you needed more power. Because let's face it, who doesn't need more power? There is nothing you cannot solve with more power. Except possibly keeping the holodecks working right, but that is only a problem that weak Federation engineers ever have to deal with. Right. Close again, tackle the weak, and feet to the face just to make the point. There we go, overcome by Klingon boot odour. These green, even with gas masks, they're unable to stomach a proper living environment. Right, kill the last one. Now we need to fix this warp core. Where's the panel? Where's the panel? Where's the panel? There was a control station background here that looked fairly prominent. Is that it? I don't see any flashy signs. Now, did they miss it in the effects pass? Or was that a global thing and I'm just looking in the wrong place? I'm looking in the wrong place! Well, on the bright side, I suppose at least once we get the temperature back up, all the ice sculptures will melt, although we will be swabbing the decks. Well, somebody will be swabbing the decks. I suppose we'll make it easy to get the blood out of the floor plating. Now, where is this control panel? Aha! There we are. And it even looks like proper engineering. So, red, blue, red, 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 and then a slightly different red to fix it, and we're good. Now, there ought to be another control panel around here somewhere, but I don't see it. They're not going to make us toddle right the way round again, are they? Or am I just missing something obvious? I'm missing something obvious. You'd think, really, that I'd know where the control panels were. As I said, it's a standardised warp core, a standardised engineering room. Don't tell me we're going to have to melt that. Right, well, the tricorder is pointing back over there, but that's probably just another anomaly. No, that panel still doesn't do anything. Hop down here. Let's hoover up the loot since we're here. Ooh, those are both worth having. I might very well replace that Mark V phaser blast after this. But where is this control? Oh! Of course, of course, of course, of course. Right. Onwards we toddle for great bloodshed, and great not exploding, and great finding the right door. Yes, indeed. Klingon ships do not come with signs. Signs are for the weak. They are for those who cannot find their way around. It's why we have them in First City, so that non-captain Klingons can find what they're doing. Now, he's over there, I'm there, feet to the face, and drop 20 feet, but we don't care because we are Klingon. Gravity is for the weak, and so are broken ankles. Round we go. We'll let the bridge officers have their fun for the moment. Aha, there you are. Try and outflank my bridge officers, would you? Eat Batleth. Turn and face me, you coward. Actually don't, because I was getting quite a nice flanking damage bonus on that. Don't really care though, because, well, we can shoot you in the back anyway. The fate of all who turn and flee from battle. There we go. Right, now... Aha! There's the panel. As I said, standardised engineering rooms. Although why we can't go the whole hog and grab the engineering room, or rather stabilise the warp core from the other engineering room, after all they had the same control panels, I do not know. Still, we got to kill more Breen, and that's never a bad thing. Right, the bridge. The Emperor. The greatest Klingon to ever live, even if he did somehow get boarded by a Sarthelm that was 20 kilometres away and in the middle of blowing up at the time. It hardly matters, for he is Kahless. and he can do no wrong. And the Breen have been redecorating here as well. Not that it matters. Into them. Boot to the spine. And then disrupt it to multiple locations, along with the Bat'leth. Aha! The villain himself, Thotmere. Thotmere the coward, Thotmere the fling, and even the Emperor recognises that the Bat'leth is ready to go. Come down here. And did the Emperor just pull a shotgun to finish him off? Yes, he did. Right, let us talk to the Emperor. Once everyone is back to their stage marks, of course. Such proprieties must be observed. Indeed, and no, we are not here for a bit of blood wine. Much as we would like it, I have a bottle in the inventory, but it will have to wait until I make General. Yes, that is when we will drink the blood wine, and not before. Right, we need to talk to the Chancellor, don't we? Can we get him on comms? Can I find the right button on my user interface? Such things are most helpful. Aha! The Emperor hasn't asked me to do anything yet. Oh, well, I suppose that'll come up in the next episode. So, shields or engines? Shields or engines? Let's go with shields, because I've got the efficient engines. And let's face it, that's all any proper Klingon would need. Besides which, the bonuses are better. Alright, so the Chancellor is happy. We have failed to die yet again. And ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Emperah Kalis, inventor of the Bat'leth, exemplar of the Klingon Empire, and dab hand with a shotgun. I'll see you next time.